Greetings and welcome, people, on this rather splendid early April, early spring day. Very breezy. And as to be expected, a little on the cool side, but very nice. Making a quick run over to Chichester. This is principally by way of a test of my new Bluetooth headset installed in my helmet. Sorry about the sniffles. So it is a bit of a cool day, so the nose goes into automatic default cool day mode of sniffing. Sorry about that. Yes, I've persuaded my family to very kindly club together in a similar vein to how they did for buying this Nolan crash helmet, to club together and buy me the Nolan Bluetooth system to fit in it. I had been trying to make the cheap Freedcon Chinese Bluetooth system work, but unfortunately I couldn't get anything decent out of it. So hopefully this is a vast improvement, because it's designed specifically for this and other Nolan helmets. It fits into the provided apertures and channels, and it's actually got a boom mic, so the mic is now more in front of my mouth, not too close, so hopefully that should be picking up a lot more of my voice. And also, because the system is quite a bit more expensive than the other system, I know cost isn't always a guarantee of performance. Hopefully it should be doing a better job of bringing out my voice and cutting back down on the external noises, wind, etc. I mean wind, it is a breezy day and I don't mean wind from me. So let's see how we go. If this doesn't improve the audio quality, then I really don't know what options I've got apart from getting a drift or a GoPro camera with a dedicated mic. It's even more expense. I don't know that I can persuade my family to club together again and spend even more money, £300 plus, on a GoPro camera. No, I don't think that's an option really, unless I can find a decent second-hand one. Anyway, let's see how we go. So I thought I'd chat a little bit about motovlogging, and specifically about something which I hope you won't think makes me sound presumptuous and conceited, but maybe a few pieces of advice for other people thinking about getting into motovlogging, or any vlogging really. It may be that you're already watching many long-established motovloggers, as I do. I've only been doing it about 6 months and I've only got about 14 videos uploaded, so I can't exactly call myself an established motovlogger. But I do watch others, like Spicy and Smo and Red Renner and Motornosity and Chase on Two Wheels, etc., several others. And you might be doing the same. You might be watching these long-established motovloggers, and it might be putting you off to a degree, because obviously these guys are using the aforementioned GoPro, Rift cameras, expensive Sony cameras. There are obviously other high-end motovlogging or action cameras that people use, and of course you're looking at something around the region of, let's give a ballpark figure, £300 for one of those cameras, and that's not including all the memory cards and the kit of mounts things that go with them. Obviously GoPro mounts, because they've got the GoPro name, attract a premium price, so you'll probably be looking at getting other makes of GoPro compatible mounts, and obviously you need different mounts for stealth and different yet again for the Sony, and it goes on and on and on. So you might be looking at these guys with their 1080p 60, 1080p 120, 4K 30, 4K 60 video footage up on the YouTube channels and think, I could never afford to compete or to go to that sort of level, particularly if you're just starting out on a bike. Well, my big word of advice would be don't be put off. Don't think you're competing against these guys. Don't think you've got to be up there with them as far as video quality and audio quality and etc. is concerned. Everybody starts somewhere, and if you haven't already started motovlogging, I think my advice would be to go on eBay, look at some of the GoPro clones, the SJ4000 clones, the little boxy style. You can pick up a 1080p camera for about £30. Yes, to a degree it is it's a little bit of a lottery. You may get one that's absolutely rubbish. On the other hand, you may get one that's perfectly adequate. I've got a little GoPro clone, SJ4000 clone at home, not the one that's on the wing mirror, on the mirror mount. That was, I'm pretty sure it was about £35. And it's 1080p 30, and the quality of the clarity of the video that comes out of that is actually really rather good. You certainly would think it came out of a more expensive camera than the one it actually did come out of. So even if you're a bit unsure about motovlogging, about talking, things like that, it is in your interest, even if you're in a car, on a bicycle, on a scooter, any motor vehicle, good grief, to at least run something as a dash cam. Even if simply to protect yourself in the event something happens, and of course it comes down to your word against somebody else's. If you've got it on camera, then there's no argument. Yes, that can work two ways. That can work against you as well as for you. So you might want to think about maybe calming down if you're a bit of a road warrior, bit of a hack and slash merchant when you're riding. If something does happen and your camera footage is used as evidence, it may well condemn you as much as the other person, so take account of that. But certainly get some sort of camera, even if you just mount it on the bike like that one there on the mirror. Oh, I had the side light on. That's not very good. Yeah, be back in a bit. Okay. Yes. Quite nice boots. Might be my next. Next purchase. You never know. Okay, ooh, big fly. As I was saying, don't be overawed by the video quality and the clever cinematography with animations and logos and things of the long established motovloggers or any other vlogger. Don't forget, they've been going for, in some cases, years. And some of the people who come straight in and start doing this high-end stuff are probably coming from a background of video editing or cinematography or some other related discipline. So don't go thinking you have to spend hundreds of pounds on a camera to get 4K resolution, because you've got that's going to have other consequences, one of which is going to be the machine you need to use to edit that and the software you need to use to edit that. I don't know whether Windows Movie Maker can edit 4K. I mean, some of the established guys use Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere and all that sort of thing, which is obviously very capable, very good quality stuff. But if you're just starting out, you probably don't want to be spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds You don't want to be spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on software and computer equipment, whether it's Mac or PC. And then decide that maybe motovlogging isn't really your thing. You can still obviously run the camera as a type of dash cam. There's no problem doing that. Thank you, Mr. Lorry Driver. Moved over, made some room for me. Thank you very much. Because the other thing to consider is the higher resolution, higher quality of the video you create, the longer it is actually going to take to upload to YouTube or whichever platform you decide to use. Come on people, go. Off you go. I mean, I had the situation just a couple of nights ago where I started off an upload of a file that was 1080p 30. Oh, crap on the road. Let's take it easy. Yeah, so just 1080p 30. Just mono audio. I started off the upload at 10 o'clock in the evening. I think the file size was getting on for 2.5 gigabytes. So 10 o'clock in the evening, didn't actually finish until nearly 3 o'clock the following afternoon. So that was a 1080p 30. Imagine how big that file would have been for about a half an hour video. Imagine how big that file would have been if it had been 4K and 4K 60 and high bit rate and all that sort of malarkey. If it's taking something like 15 hours for my moderately moderate resolution file. Just think how long it's going to take for a 4K. So unless you've got cable or fibre broadband, yeah, it's going to be almost impractical, I would have thought, to work in very high resolution. So don't be aiming for that straight off. Get yourself a cheapish camera. Get yourself set up that way first. See how you get on with it. I mean, it's not for everybody. I know sometimes I'm sort of riding along going, yeah, people must be listening to this going, oh, for God's sake, just shut up. Then other times you'll be chatting away quite nicely, so it's not 100% all of the time. Sometimes you just want to concentrate on your riding. If traffic's busy, or if road conditions are not so good, if it's wet, or it's quite breezy today but it's not too bad. If you need to concentrate on your riding more, if you're a commuter in and out of a big city like London or one of the other big metropolitan areas. I mean, back there in Chichester you just saw how busy that got. I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to places like London, but it can be fairly busy and you need to be concentrating. So that's the other piece of advice I would give to anybody thinking about starting motovlogging. Safety comes first. There's no point riding along, chatting away, even if it's something really interesting and really funny or whatever. If you're chatting away and then you ride smack into the back of a bus or a truck because you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Now, most people who drive cars and ride bikes things are used to doing several things at once. You're operating the vehicle, you're watching where you're going, you could potentially be having a conversation with a passenger, or if you are having a conversation on a phone, hopefully it's the hands-free one. But your safety and the safety of others around you comes first, so always bear that in mind. There was one of the motovloggers I watch, Walterific, he put up a video where he was riding along, not going particularly fast, not doing anything silly like overtaking or filtering at speed or anything like that. He was just riding along. One thing he was doing, he was fiddling with his phone. He was changing music on his phone, and you could see from his helmet camera that he was drifting off on a bend. The road was curving slightly to the left, but because he wasn't paying attention to that, he just carried straight on, hit the curb, off, broken collarbone, no riding for 3 or 4 months, damaged bike, just because a few moments lack of attention. So when you're on your bike, motovlogging or not, the situation calls for it. You give your full attention, and there's me speeding, slow down, to what you're doing. You can ride safe and you can have fun. You don't have to do one or the other. I don't think there's much fun in spending 3 to 6 months in a plaster cast because you've lost your bike and binned it and broken something. And of course there was something on the YouTube channels recently about a motovlogger in America. I think her name was Annette Currian, riding a road she knows very well, experienced rider, by all accounts a safe rider, went off on a bend on the road and was killed. People might say, well, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You can't do anything about it. Well, sometimes it doesn't just happen. Sometimes, not necessarily you, but something makes it happen. She may have gone into the bend too hot. Got target lock on the offside of, or the outside of the bend, and if you don't know what target lock is, it's when you see something that you don't want to hit, but because you're staring at it, you tend to go in that direction and hit it. Or it could be just there could have been dust or something on the road that caused her to lose traction, lose grip, and she just ran wide and wasn't able to recover it. Now, I don't subscribe to the saying that motorbikes are dangerous. Motorbikes in themselves are not dangerous. They can be ridden in a dangerous manner, and if something does go wrong, you are obviously a lot more vulnerable than if you're surrounded by 2 tons of metal and airbags, seat belts, and so going from a piece of advice to motovloggers about cameras and things. Oh, the other thing is, of course, is don't worry about drones. A lot of motovloggers also do drone footage as well now. And of course, a decent drone with a decent camera on it is not cheap. Some of them, you're talking about thousands of pounds, 1,000, 2,000. DJI, Mavic, Spark and that type of thing. They're lovely, nice little bits of kit, but they're very expensive. And as far as I'm concerned, entirely unnecessary for what we do as motovloggers. Motovlogging means vlogging while riding a motorcycle, as far as I'm aware. So if you want to motovlog, go ahead, do it, have fun. If you just want to ride and waffle about any old rubbish that comes into your head, great, do it. If you want to ride and talk about specific subjects, I wouldn't necessarily say have a script ready and rehearsed, because you might very well forget it, but at least have some ideas. So yeah, do it, have fun, be safe, enjoy. Catch you later.